Welcome to How to Deal When Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta.
And I'm Connie. And today we are here with Heather Chapman. So Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you deal when shit gets real.
Well, thank you ladies for having me on today. I love the title, and I feel like that's been the motto of my life, because I joke that life likes to serve you opportunities of growth the entire way. So shit's been real my entire life. So it's been a fun journey. So I'm actually a holistic performance and business coach, and I help people own their own lives through my one-on-one coaching and our Own It Mastermind program. But truly, I live to inspire people to create a better place for our future generations, whether it's holistically through taking care of ourselves and our habits and being good to the planet, or creating businesses that have positive impacts and create opportunities for other people to work at in a positive environment. And just really would like to see a shift of the money in the hands in this world, because right now there's more than 300,000 children that die a day of dirty drinking water and starvation, and we could solve that with $3.5 million, and we just don't as a collective. So I'm up to some big stuff. I'm up to creating a wave. I want to be a world taker. So I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, I'm a granddaughter, and I love my life. I love to dance. And how do I deal when shit gets real? Is I play that music and I dance. You know, nothing like a glass of wine and a dance party to solve all your problems.
Just don't spill the wine.
Yeah,
Don't spill the wine. Yeah.
And if you do, you have to be near me, because I got like a full glass of red wine out of a white dress. It looks brand new, and I still to this day do not know how I got that stain out, but it happened. And my sister-in-law is like, bow down to your magical powers. How did you get that wine out?
Yeah, I had a friend once spill down my beautiful, only light pair of jeans I think I ever owned. And that was the one day, and never wore them again, because the red wine gave me a hug and just
it was just done.
Oh, man.
Done.
I was so fast acting. It was not even funny. I'm like, strip now, get out of like, luckily we were in my basement right by my washer and dryer. I'm like, I got out the OxyClean. I'm like, let's do this. We're going to just spray the living crap out of it and pray. And it worked.
That's the key. Immediate. I was stuck at a Jays game for about 5 more innings. So I wasn't going
anywhere. There was no washer or dryer to put your pants in.
No.
I also didn't realize they served wine at baseball games. I've always gotten beer. So note to that also.
Yeah, they definitely serve wine. I have the genes to prove it.
Nice. And I'm sure they probably now sell all those hard seltzers, because those are so popular right now.
Yeah, most likely. Haven't been in a while.
I don't think anybody has, but we're slowly getting back to that, right?
They are open here. I don't live in Toronto anymore. I lived there for about 6 years, but I'm about an hour and a half north of Toronto now. So a little bit different lifestyle.
It's absolutely back. I've been watching the postseason baseball, and the stadiums are packed.
Yeah.
So they're back.
Good.
Yeah.
So you talked about being a co-author, which as an author myself, I'm super interested in. So what is it like being a co-author? What does that entail? And what I saw that you wrote both, I think, a love book you wrote and a health and fitness book that had to be two very different journeys.
Yeah, they are very different journeys. I've always written. I've loved reading and writing. I'm a bookworm. I actually prefer audiobooks. So I love to walk and listen to Audible. I'm just an kinesthetic learner. I learn best when I'm moving, right? So audiobooks do the best for me. But I got the opportunity to write in Fitness to Freedom, which was a blessing for me, because truly why I went and studied kinesiology was because I had health issues my entire life. I died multiple times at birth. I was in a study at 12 years old to try to heal my digestion. And it wasn't until I graduated kinesiology and actually went and studied nutrition that I was able to heal myself.
Wow.
My doctor told me I was the healthiest person he was going to see all day, and that just wasn't enough for me. So I went and healed myself, and thank God that I did. So Fitness to Freedom was amazing, because it being a co-author is really fun and exciting because there was 18 of us per book, and we got to do a photo shoot, and we had, some fitness models in there. So it was great. And they even had a model. And so we did a photo shoot, and we had a really good time. And it was fun because we got to connect with other like-minded women. We could support each other. And writing is a lot, right? You write the chapter multiple times. It gets edited and audited and all the things. So it's like version 100. So writing is writing. But to be a co-author was a lot of fun because it was an experience that we all got to do together. We can market the book together. We can go. At the beginning, we were doing book signings at Chapters and Indigo here in Canada. And so it was really fun to have the experience with people. And then Dear Love came to an opportunity for me when I was at one of our educational workshop events that Goldenberg Road Publishing House offered. And it's about my parents' love story, the chapter that I wrote. And so I was sharing it with them. Yeah, it was really, they're from Austria and Yugoslavia, old Yugoslavia. They came here after the war. My grandmother was a refugee from Yugoslavia to Austria, and was taken in by this elderly family, and my grandfather just happened to be renting a room from them, and so that's how they met in the middle of the war. And so he gave up his bedroom for her family. For the females, they got that room, and he slept on the floor in the elderly couple's room. So it's this incredible love story. They come here to Canada with nothing, and thank God they did, because we have a beautiful family and life here. So writing that story was very important to me because it was also closure. My grandfather had committed suicide at 90, and was one of my best friends. Taught me so much. He studied politics in his retired years. He was a successful entrepreneur when he came here. He taught me so much. So that book meant a lot to me. And to have some closure and write the eulogy, that I wrote a poem for the eulogy, his eulogy, and that's how we open the chapter. And then we go into, you can truly only find that kind of love. The love at 90. My grandfather would joke he still had his best birthday gift ever, and it was his wife. It was my grandma, because they got married a day before his birthday. I know, 64 years, and he still every year, every birthday told me the same thing. So to be able to find that kind of love is just incredible. He always taught me, life's not meant to be spent alone, and the youth need to get up and riot and stand up for themselves because the government's screwing you. So those were the two life lessons. Yeah. And here we are now.
He would be spinning in his grave, being like, "I told you."
Oh, why weren't you listening? You could have stopped this. Oh yeah, for sure. So he was an incredible influence on my life, and an incredible entrepreneur, grandfather, father, and I'm really grateful to be able to write that chapter in that book, because I came from that self-love, that self-acceptance. There were two incredible individuals who came together and worked so well as a team. And for over 64 years, raised a family that, really put family first. So writing is incredible. I love writing. I love inspiring people. So that's why I love to write, and to inspire people to love themselves, but also to find love. Because really, I love love. Love is a beautiful thing. So to be able to inspire people to find that. And yes, two totally different books to be writing, but both touched my heart and soul.
Wow, what a story on both sides.
So what inspired you to start your business, and what got you passionate about mindset, movement, and nutrition?
So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My grandfather always taught me you're never going to get rich from your wages. And he always taught me that one of the biggest mistakes he made was not scaling his business. So not hiring more people and removing himself and being more of like the CEO of the company. So those were two things he taught me. And at 17, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, because I had a babysitting business since I was like 12 and had always earned my own money. And then when I was 14 and had to go get that quote unquote real job, I remember being like, I have to do what other people say has to be on their schedule. I don't like this. And so when I graduated university, I worked for somebody else for a year. And I remember just so disappointed when they're like, here's your $2 raise, and you can take this other opportunity and like move up in the company, but it requires this much more work. And I was like, I'm not going to be told what I'm worth and when I can work and double my workload for what, $2 more an hour, if that. I was like, I'm out. So my parents weren't necessarily entrepreneurs. So they really thought, you got to go, get your 9 to 5 and work your way up in the company. And so I did it for a year and I was like, I'm out. So I started picking up contract work at that time. And I started to understand that you could be an entrepreneur, be a sole proprietor, have your own company, and do contract work. So I could work for other companies and see clients as a kinesiologist there. But I could also see clients in home and work with them privately. And I loved that. But then I quickly realized that was trading my time for money. And I only had so much time to trade. And now I'm working 7 days a week. Yes, I've made more money than I ever have. And I'm exhausted. I'm working in 3 different cities, seeing clients all over, and I have no more time left to trade. And I wanted to go back to school to study nutrition because I was still dealing with health issues. And my doctor said, he couldn't help me. So I started a network marketing company. I started with Arbonne, and it allowed me to quit my second contract, go back to school, finish and study nutrition. But, life always serving you opportunities along the way. So in nutrition school, I had a few concussions, and thank goodness that I was studying nutrition because I was able again to heal myself. And then from that point, I was able to graduate and start as a life skills coach and a nutritionist for brain and spinal cord injuries. So that was really had me shift in my area of focus and healing. So now I had the nutrition, I have the movement. I'm a neuroanatomy retrainer. So I work with visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive. So basically we work with your brain to improve your body, actually working with the other systems than just muscles. And it makes a big difference. And honestly, I swear it saved me from chronic pain that I had dealt with for so long from being an athlete, and still saves me to this day, right? It's something that we always want to keep doing. And so then I really realized, having contracts and doing all the things that I was doing, it's all still trading my time for money. And I loved it. But I decided I really needed to focus. And so, I studied so many Bob Proctor's programs, and in the Lead the Field program, they say, you've got to get big and get small. So it was like, okay, let me focus on getting big. What do I want to do? I want to write. So I put my focus in and started writing. Didn't know where the opportunity would come, but when the opportunity landed, I basically had the chapter ready for the book because I had been writing. So I believe in manifesting, and I believe there's the 4 stages. So it comes from idea, then thought, then plan, then action. So I put them into play. And next thing I know, I was being offered an opportunity to write in the book. And at that point, I realized I needed to release my contracts, focus on my one-on-one clients, start writing, and start launching my online brand. And that's what I did. And that was in 2019. And thank God, because at the end of 2019, I hired a business coach, launched an online business program February of 2020, and then the world shut down in 2021. And I could no longer run my current coaching business because I was seeing people in home. So something that I'd spent a decade building was literally just taken from me. Okay. And I was so, so grateful to have been in a position to always be ahead of the game and have a business coach, have an online program, be able to pivot and launch a company. And, it's almost 2 years later, year and a half later, 18 months or whatever this craziness has been. And I have team members, I have coaches, and I've built this incredible online coaching company and program. And it's something I've always wanted, and this is just the beginning of my dreams. We have big plans in so many ways, but it has been a journey. And when shit got real, each and every time, whether it was a concussion or, not getting along with the contract of an owner of the company and being like, I'm out, and just giving up 25% of my income, just so many different things that, life serves you along the way. And it's when shit gets real, it's just focus on your goal, right? Just focus on your goal. It doesn't matter what's happening. You can always create something else.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to hear this concussion story. You got 2, what were you doing? Were you just skipping along on the street and somebody bopped you in the head?
So I don't sit still. And even when I had the concussion, I should have been sitting still. And I don't think I was. So a couple were from car accidents, not my fault. One was somebody else's fault. And then Other was weather related. And then I should have probably been sitting still. And I went to go horseback riding. My aunt and uncle have a couple of horses, and I bent down to kiss the horse, but he stood up, and it's like a 2-ton horse, right? So I got
Oh
headbutted by
God.
the horse.
Oh my
boy.
gosh.
I know.
All of the accidents.
And I played indoor soccer, and so I got knocked out by a soccer ball from about like 2 feet away. So there was like a slew of concussions in a really short period of time that really compounded. So
Your poor brain.
I'm a super high performer, and all of a sudden I wasn't, and life was just completely different. So that was just a whole new opportunity to recreate myself and really build the habits and skills, rebuild, I guess, the habits and skills that got me to be successful in the first place. So
Yeah. Well, I know Connie for sure, and me absolutely would love to hear your holistic approach and how you help people with brain and spinal cord injuries. Because as we've talked about in previous episodes, Connie's brother actually was just experienced a spinal cord injury. So we would love to hear what holistic things you can tell us that maybe we can pass along to Mitch.
absolutely. So 1 is we heal from the inside out. 2 is the biology of belief. So every single thought has a physiological response. The placebo effect is not this unknown thing. There's the placebo and the nocebo effect. If you don't think you're going to heal, you're not going to heal. That's the nocebo effect. It's a negative response. A placebo effect would be, being given a sugar pill that says it's going to heal your spinal injury, and you believe it's going to heal, so it heals, but turns out you were just taking vitamins, nothing special. Right. And so this is proven in science, where they've given experimental groups to give them chemo and some of them sugar pills. And even the ones on sugar pills lose their hair. But why? Because they think they're taking a chemo pill, and they think that's supposed to have them lose their hair. So Bruce Lipton has spent 20 years to get epigenetics proven as a science, so that we could start to understand the biology of belief. So 1 is read that book. Look into that philosophy. I truly believe in energy. So I had tried everything. I had been working with incredible chiros and masseuses that truly did save me for a long time, but it just wasn't solving the problem. And I went, and a friend of mine is a theta healer. I bought a book, and I started doing mindset and imagery work to heal my spine. And I went from not being able to do more than 10 minutes of physical activity at a time without having extreme nerve pain down my legs, to doing weights in days.
Yeah.
And so I truly believe it's holistic. I believe the medical system has a place. The chiros, the acupuncture, the massage, the food, the nutrition, but the mind is the most powerful. So I truly believe mindset and visualizing, right? The mind knows no difference between real and imagined. The exact same neurons fire in your brain when you think about shooting a basketball as when you actually shoot a basketball. So why would not the same neurons fire to heal yourself when you think about seeing yourself healed and seeing it healed? And that's what theta healing is. So you would visualize, you would look up, what does a perfect spine look like? And you would visualize, and you would just keep seeing that until your body was like, oh, this is what you want. Let me go do that for you. So I truly believe, 100% in the energy work. I swear on that. But 2 is the nutrition, right? So imagine your body's going to try to do what you say, but you're living on McDonald's, which is empty calories, right? So what nutrients are going to heal you? And that was my issues for a majority of my life, was the gut health, right? So if your gut is your second brain, which we know now, which is crazy, because I used to have a client who was a physiologist, and she had said back in the day when she went to med school, they were taught that the colon was just to absorb water from the fecal matter to solidify it so you could take a shit. Like, come on. Now we know. Now we know that that's literally your second brain. And if you can't, it's not just about eating food and breaking it down. It's about being able to assimilate it and your body absorb it, right? So if the gut's not healthy, then you can't get those nutrients, which are the precursors to your neurotransmitters, which you're trying to heal yourself, and so on and so forth. So it was the supplementation that allowed me the nootropics that gave me the cognitive function to be able to keep working the way that I was. And it was the supplementation to deal with the chronic pain, the chronic inflammation, and the supplementation to help my body heal. Just so many soups and so many bone broths and making my own and eating collagen, like anything that your body would need to heal itself, was incredible and had a huge impact. And then just respecting the healing journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times it was like you try to push yourself too far and you got to take a step back. So it's also a journey, right? And everything happens for a reason, and for whatever reason that is, it's come to teach us a lesson. So the title of the Fitness to Freedom is There's a Lesson in Every Blessing, right? So it's a blessing and it's come to teach you a lesson, and it's just our perception, right? If I had just finally hit the 6-figure mark in my own private coaching company, and I was so pumped. And then that happened. And guess what? It taught me I was still trading my time for money. So great, you built this business, but it could be gone at any moment. You haven't built something that's recurring, that's residual, that can run like a well-oiled machine with or without you. You built yourself another job. You just work for yourself, right? So for me, it was a big awakening of creating a different kind of business. And I truly believe that when we can work with the brain, so doing the neuroanatomy retraining, so the Z Health education, you can check out zhealtheducation.com. Dr. Cobb's incredible. He's taught a couple of courses I've attended. He's such an incredible human being. And they used to joke that his head would come in the door before him because he was so kyphotic. And he went to chiropractic school to help heal himself, and no one could help him. And so he went on to study more, and now he teaches at the National Concussion Symposiums in Europe. And this is the information that we need to get out there. We need to stop working with like, oh, here's the problem. Let's like work on this one area of the problem, right? Like, no, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We have an energetic body. We have a neurological body. We have muscular systems, but there's so much more. You can't just treat the muscles and the bones, right? And it's why do you attract those experiences to be a victim? That's the first question, right? Well, you have a self-concept issue. So I understand that everything in our life is attraction, right? The same way that gravity works is the same way that law of attraction works. So I had to stop and go, why do I keep attracting experiences in my life to be a victim? Well, every time they showed up, it was right when I hit a new income bracket. It was right when a new opportunity came my way. So what was coming into my life didn't match my current self-image. So I had to self-sabotage. And for majority of us, we don't work on the inner work and the self-concept work. And so anytime we go to have a breakthrough, the shit happens, shit hits the fan, right? And why is that? It's because we attracted it. We're like, oh, we're not good enough. We can't have this great experience. Something needs to sabotage. So there's so much in the healing process, but then we also need to ask, why are we attracting these experiences in the first place? And what's the blessing and the lesson?
Yeah, I tell Mitchell all the time, no, you're going to walk and you have to believe you will walk or else it won't happen. So you letting other people in our family are like, this is it, you're done. And I'm like, you can't let that phase you or else you really won't. You will get out whatever you put in. So if you put in those thoughts of, yeah, I'm walking, you will. So.
And the visualization. So it's seeing himself walking.
Yeah. And I tell him, like, I've had dreams of him walking and he's had dreams of him walking. And I'm like, see, then you have to walk and you have to believe you're going to walk.
100%. And it's in the present tense, right? Because the subconscious mind doesn't understand. So if we say, I'm going to walk, it's going to stay in the future. Right. So it's, I walk, I can walk, I am walking, right? It has to be in the present. Time is an illusion.
Yeah, the brain doesn't understand time. It only understands right now.
Now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll have to tell him that he has to put walking into the present tense.
We're just going to get him a shirt that says, I am walking.
Yes, I love that.
That's so funny.
With like a little thing on it, when they reflect. So it's like 3D. So when he moves, it's like a person walking.
Yeah. Definitely. So what is it like hosting and speaking for Own It Empire's Elevate Virtual Summit?
So Elevate Virtual Summit is something I created last year. It's something I think the world really needed. I grabbed my mentors, I grabbed my coaches, I grabbed friends and anybody who could add value. And I basically created a weekend summit that kind of summarized what we taught in, or what we teach in the Own It Mastermind program. And it was so much fun. And so the idea of Elevate is to elevate and to look at ourselves and our business holistically. So we went through Danielle Amos, who was my coach with the Thinking to Results, who's one of Bob Proctor's top coaches. She came and spoke about self-concept and how you will only grow as big as your self-concept. We had Angeline, who's one of my friends and speakers, and she's a psychotherapist, come and teach on human conditioning and behavior, so people can understand that they're walking around like them 7-year-old selves, and until they choose to recondition their brain and their subconscious mind, nothing's going to change. And really, most of us are living by default and not by design. Most of us don't actually think. And so we had her explain that and how we can rewrite our memories and all the things. And then I went into the goal setting and the mindset, so we could get out of victim mindset, get into the gratitude, understand, for most of us, we do goal setting wrong. We're like, when I get there, I'll have that. Right? But you have to already be it. You already have to own it. You have to know it's already mine, and you have to decide it now, and then it shows up. Right? We're like, oh, I'll open that company when I get $1 million. No, you need to decide you're going to open the company, and the $1 million is going to show up for you. Right? So we go through a whole goal setting, because this is just the stuff that's not taught in school. So we're actually, I'm working on creating a new version for children that we will launch in the new year. That will be donation only, and we'll give it to, we do give the current one to some non-for-profits, and because we have a 1 day, so there's the Empower Transformation Workshop, which is a 1 a day, and then Elevate's the longer one. And we went through nutrition, business, branding, all of the things. And it's so much fun, one, to teach. I love teaching and speaking. Two, it's fun to collab and learn from other people and let other people own their zone of genius. So I can be the idea generator, but I don't have to know it all, right? That's the power of a working mastermind. And so we have those ladies come and teach for us, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to, organize and run and market, but it was so much fun. And I feel like my self-image 10x after running it.
Awesome.
It's so funny you're talking about mastermind, because
we just had a guy ago.
Yeah, he was talking all about the mastermind and how 1 + 2 actually equals 3 because it makes a third brain and all that. So it's so awesome that we just happen to have him and then you, and we're getting like two kind of different perspectives on the mastermind.
Yes, because he was using it for military people getting out of the military and helping them to transition. So it's like two people using the mastermind concept in two very different ways. So to our listeners, you're welcome. We totally planned this on purpose. It is all for you. You're welcome.
And this is so incredible. It's not a common conversation. So I actually just bought the Think and Grow Rich movie, and I watched it twice in the last week. And the 13 Principles of Success. And Napoleon Hill spent his entire life studying the most successful people, but also over 25,000 people that failed. And he wrote the 13 Principles of Success, like consider, like Alexander Graham Bell, like the top of the top. Okay. He wrote the 13 Principles of Success, and then also the 6 main ghosts of fear and everything that falls under that, which is why people fail, because you can live in faith or you can live in fear. You can live in gratitude or you can be a victim, and you can't have both. And you can only entertain one thought at a time, and that's your switching and receiving station. And if you're being a victim, you attract more of it. So in a working mastermind, we, in our program, we run it so that people can bring whatever they need, and everyone gets 5 minutes to share what they're working on. And then the entire mastermind will help them generate new ideas. And that's how my online program came. That's how I got introduced to my business coach. When I was studying Thinking to Results with Danielle Amos in the Proctor & Gallagher Institute, Thinking into Results is slightly based off of Think and Grow Rich, which Sandy Gallagher made with Bob Proctor. We were encouraged to create our own mastermind. And from that, so I used to run a business mastermind for her in the program, but then I created my own. And I've never not had one. And that's since 2018. It is that like you can't go without. Once you have a working mastermind, the accountability, the extra energy, the knowledge, just to also have a group of people who are up to big things that you can connect with that aren't going to shut you down and say, well, how are you going to do that? I say be like the Eeyore, from like Winnie the Pooh, like, oh, well, that's nice, Winnie. But how are you going to do that? Right? Like that's not allowed in a mastermind. All we can do is add to it. So it's so powerful, and you can use it in any way you want. And all it is 2 or more people get together and help generate ideas, and you create a third brain, a third energy, and you can create more than you ever thought possible. So I love that you guys had people on here talking about masterminds, because it does need to be talked about more, and I'll never go without one.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And like kind of just said, now hearing your story versus his story, it's all so cool. And since you're talking about it anyway, and your life as a coach, what is your favorite thing about being a coach?
I love people stepping outside their comfort zone and like just stepping into their new version of them. Like that's my favorite thing. When I can see somebody just show up as like this new version, they're confident, they're creating versus living by default. It's just the most amazing thing. And I remember like my sister was one of the first people, my brother was my first nutrition consultation, and he was my experiment in nutrition school. Thank God I have great siblings. But like just to watch the transformation with them, and then to see it in the clients, and to really truly see somebody step into their greatness and own it and create their life, it's worth every second, every struggle, everything you want to say to them that they may not be ready to hear but need to hear, right? It's worth all of those moments so that they can show up for them, their life, and our future world.
Love it.
One last funny question. You could only eat one meal forever. What would you eat?
Yeah, so I was like, hey, it's a meal. I love green Thai curry, vegetable with tofu.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I love coconut milk and curry and vegetables, and I don't like dry food, so it's nice and moist and it's a bowl of awesomeness. So if I could eat green Thai curry every day from a different restaurant, so it would always be different, that would be my number one meal.
So funny you say that. I literally made pad Thai last night, so we're on a Thai theme right now.
It's so good.
So just so it's also, we're going to put it in the show notes too, but just so people can hear it too. If somebody wants to connect with you, what is the best way they can connect with you, Heather?
100%. So ownitempire.com is our website. You can check more about us there and our services. You can book a free strategy call with me so we can help identify any of your blocks and what your next steps can be so that you can own your greatness. And on there, you can grab the books, you can check out the programs, and you can also come and join us in the Own It community on Facebook, where myself and our coaches do live weekly tips and tricks so that we can help you get out of your own way, whether it's personally or professionally, physically or metaphysically.
And is there going to be an Elevate, virtual summit this year?
We're actually,
or next year, I should say, because we're October already, but.
Yeah, I know. So what I'm actually looking to do is create something a little bit different, more of a version of our Empowered Transformation Workshop. And it will be specifically for children, because I believe they're being robbed of their childhood right now in so many ways. And
I agree.
Full of indoctrination of things that I don't align with me. So we are actually going to create a workshop for kids so that they can actually understand human conditioning and performance and actually own it. And we can create people who will actually make a change in this world that will be for the highest good of all.
So cool.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else to add, Heather?
No, I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me on here. It is my mission to spread love and light, to help people create peace and heaven on earth for the highest good of all, because we need to come together as a collective, just hashtag team human beings. So just thank you for having me on and allowing this global reach. And I'm just so grateful for you women owning your power and creating the space for others to do as well. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Us.
Thank you.
All right. This is How to Deal When Shit Gets Real, guys. And join us every Friday. There will be new episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. And we'll see you guys next time.